Hello, my name's Jan Kaneen, and this is an extract of a story I wrote that's been shortlisted for the Dinesh Allirajah Prize this year, organised by Comer Press. The Reassessment. Detainee Gavin Jones. Date of birth the 4th of the 4th, 2120. Infringement, self-censorship failure. Corrective action, mind hygiene programme completed. Reassessment directive, to evaluate self-censorship / connectivity control. Reassessment criteria, 3 strikes and you're out. Termination / release status, pending. Rehabilitation spur, economic potential. Reassessment mechanism, Mindstalker Artificial Intelligence Application 117. Additional data. Due to the serious nature of detainees' infringement history, the reassessment will be conducted inside the detainee's mind in differing states of consciousness. Control notes. Eep, eep, eep. He wakes up, squinting at the alarm that's flashing in grey-black freeze frames. Eep, eep, eep. It reads 5:45 a.m. His other ego awareness is exquisite. I recalibrate my cognizance cloak and set the Scrivener program to autoscribe. Perceived through the prism of his consciousness, the alarm seems to become more insistent the longer it goes on. Eep, eep, eep. He points it to snooze. The loud hush is a pill, a white quiet that sends him back to immediate sleep. In his dream, he is striding out on a winding path, through block after block of high-rise workers' towers in Hornsey, North London. The clipped lawns alight from lack of rain. Turning the corner into Tottenham Lane, hooded beggars caw a gravelly dawn chorus. Any change, Gov? Spare any change? They line the hill all the way to the overground from their side of the barrier. He cannot actually hear them because classic Elvis is jailhouse rock and rolling through his beats. But he is aware of what they are saying because their lips are moving, and it is always the same. It is easy for him to zone them out in his double dark Ray-Bans. He climbs the dirty steps to the kiosk and slips his Oyster card into the dark slit. On the train, he stands in his reserve spot, tapping on his smartphone to avoid unauthorised eye contact. He gets off at King's Cross and climbs Pentonville Road with the rest of the swarm, walking past more beggars. They chant separately and together behind their barriers on each street corner. Got any change, Gov? There are so many of them, they would drown themselves out, even if he could hear them, but he's using all recommended tools to maintain his independence, so he cannot. Outside his work scraper, something jars his focus, a beggar saying something wrong. I sense the double take, but he continues forward. The dissonance follows him up the hill like anxiety, or what he supposes anxiety might feel like if he were undisciplined enough to feel it. I feel his struggle. He turns, thinking, which one is breaking my freedom? At least that's the dominant thought. She's young, with uncovered eyes that shine even in the regulation half-light, staring blatantly into his lenses. Her lips are moving, saying something wrong, over and over. He zooms her sharp and unplugs. What? The swarm flows round them undistracted. Her lips are moving, but her words are drowned out by the buzz of workers' cans and the plain song of beggars. So unplugged or not, he has to read her lips. She says, I have something to show you, and holds out her hand as if to give him something. A wave of panic brings him close to consciousness. This can't be real, he thinks. His panic feeling is so strong that I catch an echo of it, despite my inurement filters. It feels desperate, like being unable to breathe. I block it out, zone it out before it becomes overwhelming. He does too. He refocuses and turns abruptly, plugs back in, then springs up the concrete steps 2 at a time. He lifts his shades to let the laser needle beam stitch his iris, and when the door melts open, he strides through and keeps walking into the crammed lift. He does not indulge in free thought until the 51st floor. There he allows the words, keep walking until you reach your desk. He marches past cubicles 10 to 20, then 20 to 30. He does not stop for coffee, though his smartphone recommends it would be appropriate to share a shot with his designated work buddy. Even though we're workstations away from his cubicle, he detects a silhouette behind the tinted plexiglass. There's someone in his space, sitting at his Apple, on his swivel chair. He cannot see exactly because his shades are enhancing the gloom in line with sensory deprivation recommendations, but he intuits it's her, though he knows it can't be, not this far up without security clearance. I must be dreaming, he thinks. The surge of relief almost wakes him up, but he wants to go with this and fights to remain asleep. We go inside his work cubicle, and she pushes back her beggar's fringe, stares directly into his eyes. I feel his genuine shock at the breach of protocol. Her irises are ashen with darker grey flecks that encircle her pupils. Like ammonites, he thinks. She starts speaking, and for a second time he is shocked by her effrontery, but off guard because he thinks he is under the radar. He can't hear because vintage Floyd has shuffled into his beats, but her lips are saying, I've got something to show you. She straightens her arm toward him, holding out a closed fist. Her bony knuckles form the shape of a wave that looked like a shallow heartbeat. Because he thinks he's dreaming, he reaches out too, fingers curled up loosely. She drops something into his palm, and he closes his fingers about it. Smooth like a pebble, longer than it is wide, cold like glass. Like obsidian, he thinks. He feels all this without looking, as the music screams inside his head. He's just about to look when strike status 1.